All right, guys. Well, it looks like we are up and running. Give me one second here. Oh, I am looking at literally five screens. Let me kill that. All right. Well, hey, welcome. My name is Mark. Senior Network. We have a couple of channels. One is called Retirement for Seniors, and the other one is called Crypto for Seniors. So if you are not subscribed to either one of those, please do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions throughout today through this presentation, I'm hoping it's going to be about 45 minutes or so. Please go ahead and put your question down in the chat. Give me a little question mark, a couple of question marks, just so that I can pull that one out and know that we have a active question. Okay. Let me switch the screen. There we go. Now let me bring up the other one. So today we're going to talk about common senior scams. Now, although I do say that this is for seniors, it really is for anybody. Now, I can tell you that I know a member of the FBI that was scammed. So this can happen to anybody that is trained, somebody like myself. I've come very, very close to being caught. You have to think about, you really want to share that information to a stranger, okay? One of the things I would ask you, if you think it's a scam, just simply say these words: "Please give me a number and I will call you right back." Usually you'll get a hang up. Now, if you do that, then feel good because you've actually stopped a potential scam. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Remember, any questions, go ahead and put it in chat. If you're here visiting or kind of lurking, hey, drop a quick note in chat. That way I can say hi and recognize that you have joined us. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about four common scams. Now, I've been asked by retirement centers and civic organizations to present this. There is a lot of information. It's very, very condensed. So I will repeat myself a couple of times. If it starts to get a little confusing, just drop something in chat and I will try to explain it a little bit better. All right. So you're going to take a look over here. It really is four types of scams, and technically they are all phishing in some form or another. You got your phishing scam. You got a second one that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some investment fraud. This one is this one's a little touchy on the romance scam. This actually happened to a very good friend of the family. Very, very nice individual. I have to be very careful to protect her privacy. She was actually scammed for $1.5 million. Literally lives about half a mile from where I live. So I'm going to give you that kind of information so that you can use this to your best ability and prevent any possible scams being targeted to you. Finally, we're going to do what's really the third phishing, and that is the bully scam. And that is a impersonation usually from what sounds like law enforcement. And as we get into that one, that is very interesting. I have not had that one happen to me, but all these examples that you're going to see right over in here, all of these will be real life things that have actually come into me, real emails, real websites that I've gone to. So everything that I'm about to show you will just amaze you at how prevalent this type of scams are around. All right, so a lot going on this screen, and I apologize. You should be able to see my little mouse here. So this is a real email that came into me. I blocked a lot of information. Yes, it is in Spanish. We're going to talk about that as well. let's just kind of go through this. When did this come in? This was last year. You can see it kind of off to the side here. Um, individual's name right here, right here. This is a little bit different than over here. So, different names is a bad example of spoofing. Typically, they are a little bit better than that. Number two, your email program should have something like this, and it's going to give you some warning messages, things that you need to validate, be sure that you want to download photos, those type of things. Always heed this information. This is real important right here. Yes, you can open it up. I would suggest you never click on a link, but you could scroll down and take a look at your whole email. Just don't click on anything. Don't provide any information. All right, so let's go through this real quick. I don't expect you to read this. Right in here, this is actually a hyperlink that does not show right now. Um, one of two things is going to happen when you click on this. The first one is going to be you're going to get some kind of a virus that will be downloaded onto your computer. Okay. This happened when I was working at a location. Somebody in the warehouse clicked on an email they should not have, and it basically seized that computer. And it was within about 5 minutes, it had wiped out the whole network. And it was a ransom. They wanted money. Our IT department was able to change some settings, go back and rebuild, like just within an hour of when that attack happened, and we went forward. And then, of course, the ladies had to input any new information. Okay, so you never want to click on a hyperlink right here. And this is really important here. Take a look. Institute Federal Day Justice, right? They do have judicial power of the Federation. That is a actual agency within the Mexican government. So for those of you that don't speak Spanish, let's go ahead. I have translated this. All right, so here we go. This is exactly the same thing. For had nothing there. Dear doesn't really have to, but it could. And then the information right in here is going to be right there. That is your download. That's where a lot of your viruses come from. When you click on that, or the second thing it's going to do is it's going to take you over to a website that looks very official. It's going to ask you to input some information. It's going to say, we can't give you your money back, or we can, whatever the situation is, we can't do that for uh, 90 to 120 days. Or if you want to give us your social security number, your date of birth, those kind of things that we can actually verify you are who you are, and we can usually get that to you within about 7 days. How would you like it? Would you like it into your bank? Would you like it going in crypto? We can send it to you either way. Thank you very much. Go ahead and give me your banking information and your social and your dog's name and your mother's maiden name, and a lot of information that you're going to ask you to provide on the website or on over the phone. So they're very good at this. Very, very good at this. I have a quote from a scammer that was being interviewed, and it kind of makes me sick. So be sure that you watch to the end so you actually get a chance to see that quote. Okay. So let's go back. We've got operations assistance, Federal Institute of Justice. Remember, Federal Institute of Justice. Go back. They actually have what is called judicial power of the Federation. So, this right here, the Federal Institute of Justice, is not a real agency. Okay. If you are unsure, like I said, don't click on it. You can submit it on your email program, depends upon which program. So, I can't really tell you because there's so many programs what to click, but you can send it in as a potential virus or spam. Depends also what kind of software you have on your computer. Okay, whether you can run that through malware bytes or well, I don't even want to list the names because we're not represented or we don't represent any of them. All right, so this is really what somebody was trying to get me to do some information. And this was last year, like I said, I had gotten it a little bit earlier than that. I think it was 2 months before this date. So this was a setup. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about, this was real common. When I did this presentation, when I actually built the presentation, we actually had some natural disasters, horrible flooding, some hurricanes. The surge water was coming in somewhere around 18 to 20 feet down in the Florida area, Everglades, kind of that whole really deep south area was being hit hard. You will at that point start to see what's called a charity scam. Take a look at what it looks like. These are actual 2 emails that actually came into me. I have changed all the names and some of the general things, but I tried to leave as much as I could for you so you can actually see what they look like, right? So he says, "My name is David with Wayside Ways," and like I said, all this has been changed, where we've just received 144 dogs. Now, I have this in red, and the reason being is that if it's a scam, if it's a lie, you do easy things that you can remember, right? To think about when you have lied to somebody and then 20 minutes later comes back up, you're not sure what you said. It's just easier to tell the truth. But in this case, the scammer says 144. That's an easy number because it's a divisional number, right? Or a multiplication or however you want to justify it. Typically, what you would see is when you're talking about numbers, real numbers are 147, 142, 149, a number like that, not something like 144. In a recent hurricane, we can only hold 37 dogs, right? Okay, we're getting ready for what's called the hook. If we cannot cover the cost for the additional dogs, we will be forced to put them down. Okay. That's what's called a hook. Now, you are subject to hooks all the time, all day long. Okay. Even I do them with you. So, my hook to you was I did a very nice thumbnail. It showed a senior who was obviously distraught. Phone is right there saying, scammer call. And the scammer off to the side. That was the thumbnail. That was kind of a hook to get you to come in and see what I want you to see. It happens in news. It happens on the radio where they try to lead you into something, but now we're going to run some ads. Everybody has hooks. You just don't realize that that's what it is. So this is the hook right here in yellow. We will be forced to put them down. When you see something like this, they're tugging on your heartstrings, just like the agency that is trying to collect money for, these dogs, and you get these dogs and they're emaciated and just a horrible, horrible, horrible situation, right? And you just feel bad and, "Oh my god, I know you only want $20 a month, but here, take 100 a month." That's what you feel like doing. Okay, so they're asking you to send a check for $187.44. Okay, that's kind of an unusual number. So that brings a little bit more authenticity to the email, but not necessarily because the email has so many red flags. Or you can send Bitcoin to the following wallet. So of course they want Bitcoin, right? If you are here in the States and you do send Bitcoin and you're paying for something like this, you've sold your Bitcoin and transferred it basically, and that's a taxable situation. So Um, I don't want to get into those areas. None of this is financial information. This is strictly education only. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy, like I said, drop it down in chat. I can refer you on to some experts. Okay. I know there's one of the experts watching today. All right. So, is this something that you would do? Well, if you have donated money to the organizations to feed, the pets you see on TV, you want to take a look at what percentage is operating and how much really goes to the dogs. Extra food, extra time, bringing people in to walk them and to play with them, those kind of things. So if you get into or invest into something like that, and it is an investment of your time and your money, because trust me, you will be contacted and you will be put on multiple lists because they sell these lists. That's how they make a lot of their money. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump. How we doing on time? Great. Exactly where I need to be. This is a second email. Both of these I got in the exact same week, back in 2024. And I changed this one grossly. Greetings. I am Mr. Scammer, the Prime Minister of, and then he had some country that I've never heard of. My family left my charity, Doctors for Scammer Land, and it was some kind of a charity called Doctors Something. It wasn't Doctors Without Borders. It wasn't that organization, but it was something they're trying to lead you to believe it was something very, very close to that. Now, take a look at some of the spellings and just yes, I understand this person maybe English is a second or third language for them. I get that. Um, but somebody that should be educated, that they are a prime minister, should know certain ways of speaking and be able to converse a little bit better than that. All right, this group goes into the county, should be country, goes should be changed, side, to help sick children. Oh, here we go. Here's your hook. All right, just like we'll be forced to put them down, sick children. The amount I was given was 12 million, an odd number. Okay, that's a little obvious. I need your help. If you'd send me only $2,500, low, low price of $2,500, what are you going to get? I feel dirty even saying that. I'm going to split it with you, and I'm going to give you 500,000. Hey, I take that deal if it was legit every single day. Guys, I know you would too. Now, those of you that are watching today or going to watch the rerun of this, technology may not be your thing, but you also are not the target that scammers are going for. It actually sickens me, and I am in the process of talking with senators and congressmen about this. One of the biggest things that people do is they put their information on a great service, and it's called AARP. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. And places like AARP will sell your contact information, your phone number. This is how they make a lot of money. They don't charge you a lot up front, but they make it off of selling that information, make royalties over a period of time. So I have a brand new phone number. The reason why I have a brand new phone number is because I would get about 30 to 35 calls from Medicare from an India call center, and it was on a daily basis, and it was for about 6 months straight. Every single day, 30 to 35 calls. Now, a couple of friends have deleted me or some of the other services, and yes, I can tell you, any phone, it doesn't matter whether you have Android or Apple or who are some of the others, whatever some of the others are, like the Verizon. You know, there are settings on all these phones that you can go ahead and put these up. There are a few people that have really good, and if we have time later, I'll pull up the website because I want to keep going just because I'm watching our time today. Um, let's see if I can share that with you later. Okay, so bear with me. I want to go ahead and finish with this. All right, the rest goes to my charity after they pay you the 500,000, and I don't want a cent myself. I would want you to, send that money. We're going to go ahead and give it to the kids, right? All right. So obviously now, there are a lot of really interesting things in here, things that you need to pay attention to. When you see this red flag, please immediately stop. Okay. Just delete. Now, if you are in a corporate situation and you get something like this, because let's say you're on LinkedIn and you have your actual email address and you get in on one of these, then just go ahead and send that link. Don't forward it, but most mail programs in a corporate setting have a place where you can send that to your IT department or your corporate security department. But don't click on any links. Just send it through that service and not as an email attachment going to them where they would open it up and potentially trigger any virus. Okay. That's not in today's presentation, but I did want to share that with you. All right. Now, this one is really interesting. And it's hard for me to believe that people actually fall for this, right? Um, I've not technically been scammed, but I've come very, very close. Um, just so that you know, and I really don't want to get too much into this because I'll put everybody to sleep. But my background is a investigator for 25 years. I worked with a Fortune 34 company with $43 billion in sales. They were worldwide. I was their corporate security manager. I'm used to being a little cynical when I see things like this. High return investment. I have to be very careful when I say this because I have friends of mine that think I'm absolutely crazy because I'm into crypto. And let me talk to you about my high return investment. I bought crypto, I bought Bitcoin. Now I mine it. I've got my miners, they're live, they're in the other room next to me. It's a little warm in here. Um, so I would say about a year and a half ago, yes. Okay, so it would be about the first part of last year. And that was just about the time. I bought Bitcoin at $44,000, right? And today, a year and a half later, I think it's somewhere around 115,000. Now, I stopped to prepare for this today, the live stream. And so I don't know what the actual number is. If you know, you want to go ahead and drop that down in chat. That would be great. Okay. So, high return investment. It wasn't a scam. My friends think crypto's a scam. I can pull that out, I can sell it, I can pay my taxes on it because it is taxable, just like gold, silver, jewelry, real estate. Okay. And, walk away with a very, very nice return. But I'm one of those that believe in crypto, and this is not really about crypto, but I'm very, very active in it. And of course, like I said, I have the other channel, Crypto for Seniors. So please be sure when you subscribe to both. Okay. Right. So let's talk about some things that actually trip people up. Now, you have to remember, this is not necessarily you. These are people that are brand new to computers and brand new to the internet. And I'm talking about seniors, right? Okay. Take a look at this. Now, there's a lot that goes on with these. Right? This is an actual screenshot. This is real, right? Here is the URL. If you clicked on that URL, you would see all of this information right here if they haven't already deleted it, okay? Now, to protect my identity and some things that I've done, I blacked out a tremendous amount. So as you can see, only investment shows right here, because I don't wanna necessarily be tied to my reaction to this with their security department, okay? The guy claims to be Garrett, 52-year-old QA specialist. His company, his income is $150,000. Although I do have a retirement account, keeping I'm keen on exploring short-term investment opportunities as I prepare to shift to part-time work in the near future. What would be the most suitable strategy? Blah, blah, blah. All right. Interesting immediately, this guy. Well, the market is volatile. I suggest you get yourself a financial advisor. Okay, notice that name right there, financial advisor. Okay, let's just for time's sake go ahead and jump down to the next person. True, having the right financial planner as opposed to financial advisor is invaluable. My portfolio is well matched. I recently hit 90% rise from early last year. About the only one that I know that can say that, and maybe I hope for you that you can say that, but the only one that I know, and I know a lot of people, is myself because I bought Bitcoin again at 44,000, and it's up to 115. So, yes, my returns are super high like this is. Not uncommon, if you do play the market, or crypto or investments, not uncommon to that snapshot really, really well. Okay. Let's jump down to the next person. Now, what you should start to see is this isn't real. This is a bot. The minute this guy posted here, all the rest of these posted at the exact same time. Please, can you leave the information to your investment advisor? I'm in dire need. Oh, please share that name with me. I wanna know, right? Well, here's her name. Imagine that. She's a licensed fiduciary. Not gonna talk about investments too much. Please talk to your financial advisor. Basically, if you're not familiar with the term fiduciary, and I'm not gonna do this justice, but let me just very, 25,000 foot level. Basically, they have your best interest in mind. They don't make commission on the trades, so they don't have an incentive to get into something that's really questionable, so they make money, and then, "Oh, well, you just lost all your money, but hey, I got paid, that's all that matters." Fiduciaries have your interest, so they won't put you into those kind of they're a little bit safer unless you tell them not to be, okay? I have never worked with anybody other than a fiduciary, alright? So here's the name, here's more information. It continues to go down below, but just notice, this isn't realistic, except it did happen with me. One day, one day, one day, one day. Another thing that's really interesting, 211. That is a crazy number of thumbs up. This particular video had it's been a while, but this particular video had wasn't even 200 views. I don't remember exactly what the number I know it wasn't this number, which is also a red flag. So if you're looking at a video, like you're able to look at This video, you're going to see if somebody gives it a thumbs up, you're going to see a number of, one, two, three, if 20 people looked at it. If you had something like 10,000 people watch that video, yeah, a number of 211 could be realistic. Okay. So just be careful when you look at these things. Okay. Um, I love this. I love this, right? And I can't this is one of those that I can't how we doing on time? Great. Okay. This is one of those that I can't believe, people actually do, right? Even when I was getting into crypto 4 years ago, even back then, I would never fall for something like this. Now, this individual that you see right here, you should be able to see my mouse going around him. That is a image of Michael Saylor. If you don't know who Michael Saylor is, do some Google searching or go to a website called Hope. And I don't know if it's .com or .org, but it is where he talks about Bitcoin, MicroStrategy has invested into it, put Bitcoin actually on the company's balance sheet so that it will retain it as profit to get into more projects and obviously more salaries and grow his organization, right? All right, let's talk about this. The search was that I did, and I am a premium subscriber just so I don't get the ads, right? Because I am on YouTube 15 hours a day doing research. All right, so Michael Saylor, 1 Bitcoin for 2 Bitcoin. That's all I put in. This immediately happened. This was a live, you can see live right down in here, okay? I had to stop it because I wanted to take a, screenshot using a different program so that I could mark this up, right? But it was live right up until the second I clicked it. Let me point out some things. Yes, this is their logo. This is exactly what it looks like. How do you participate? It tells you what the rules are. They also will take other tokens like Ethereum. So you send in 1 Ethereum, you get 2 back. You send in 10 Ethereum, you get 20 back. Okay. No such thing as a free lunch, right? Couple things in this photograph. Number 1, he has never had in anything that he has done, even podcasts. He's never had these over the ears. Now, you may not know that, okay? But I've watched this guy. I've watched a lot of things that he has talked about, and I find it fascinating. And within Senior Network, um, I'm really hoping to move some of the money that I'm making on crypto into Senior Network so that we can grow it and use that to fund certain projects. And we want to get into donating some, money and helping out organizations. But we're growing. Okay. Notice no computer and notice blue admin rights right over here. Michael Saylor, right? So how is he without a computer? How is he typing this information over here? Number 2, I've been at this for, as I said, about 4 years. I've been a part of YouTube for much longer. I had never seen this before. So that's one thing that really kind of concerned me. Over what is that? Over $5 million has already been sent since they started this, supposedly. He's never used this right here as his logo, always used MicroStrategy, and this will take you to a site right here, QR code. If you're not familiar with it, just hold your phone up on the picture app, and it will take you to a website, and it will ask you to transfer your Bitcoin and say goodbye to basically, $115,000. Also, msailor.org. I have never known this to be a legitimate site. Um, my computers now are so connected because of what I do, and the mining, and I have to be very careful, so I won't at my office or my home, I won't click on anything right now. Now, there are things I can do, I can VPN and do a few other things, but I just I'm so busy, I just don't have time, and I just what I know of this individual, it's not real. Mm. Alright, let's take a look. What's Bitcoin doing? Notice the punctuation is not right. Typically, that is somebody that is not, English is the first language. They had to build all this, okay? MicroStrategy, the 135K, is actually a lot more than that. What else do we have? Okay, so those are the key points that I wanted to cover. Now let's talk about this photo. Background, he's never had this, okay? Here's a studio in his house. He's got this big, gorgeous chair. I mean, I don't know that it was custom, but it sure looked custom. And this beautiful wood behind him, bookcase. That's typically what he does. Now he does do some podcasts, like he would be in the basement right next to me, and we would be talking and sharing 1 or 2 cameras, those type of things. He does also do that, but he would never do it in what is a bank looks like a bank vault, okay? That's number 1. That's the first thing you look at. Number 2, his body seems to move on the live. This chair never moves, okay? So as he's doing this, and he's talking and he's animated, right? Chair should be moving with him, like what mine does. Chair never moves. His mouth opens and closes ever so slightly, but if you look at it, and I don't read lips, but it definitely doesn't track to what he's saying. So basically, what this is, and I zoomed in real close to this and took a look at it, and I mean, this is AI, and this is a poor AI image, and it's a little video, and he talks a little bit, he stops, he talks a little bit, he stops, and his mouth will look like he's talking, but he's not on the audio portion of that video, okay? So, if it doesn't look real, guys, please don't click on anything, don't do anything, accept it for what it is, it does not look right, nobody is going to give you, $115,000 because you loaned it to him for a minute or 2, and it tells you right here in the rule. Alright? We're doing perfect on time. Okay, um, so this is a true, romance scam. I'm sure you have heard the term pig butchering, right? That's what this is, a romance scam, and as I explained earlier, this actually happened to, a dear person, somebody that we have known for, oh gosh, 20 some odd years, right? And, she was taken, and I'll explain this as we go through because logically it follows a certain process. I tried to help. I did the best that I could. It was really hard because now that I'm not an investigator, I don't have the kind of resources, but I do have the law enforcement because I used to work with almost every agency. I was president of an association, so I was at, every law enforcement agency, the FBI offices, the DEA offices, Homeland Security offices, they all came to the association. So I got to know a lot of people. I did a lot of networking. That's how I was able to help them to get them to the right agent and somebody that would actually try to stop this. Um, it did end up in not clickbait, but it did end up at $1.5 million. That's how much they scammed her. Like I said, a dear friend of ours. So, this is a little tough. I will tell you that. I'm not going to uh, play around. Full disclosure here. Okay. I actually know of two people. One is an acquaintance, and the other one is this dear friend. Okay. This is the true story of one person that is dear to our faith. Now, the information I'm going to present in this scam, it is all legitimate. It is what happened step by step. The difference is, I did go ahead and change a lot of the names and, like the age and some other things that are in here, dollar amounts. I'll tell you what is and what I have done to protect her identity. Susan, which is not her name, is in the 70 something, correct. She is the wife of a doctor, that is correct. Her father was loaded, had a lot of money, had a lot of investments, oil, natural gas, those areas, and he left. He had passed. He left Susan well over $1 million, okay, and she was to grow that over the next 10, 15, 20 years or take whatever out that she needed to because she is 70, so she can start to pull it out, not get that major penalty. And a second account to pay for Susan's mother. Dad's deceased. Susan is the child or the offspring of the obviously the mother and the father. So Susan's mother has some issues, right? And in this account, this was about $500,000, truly 500,000. All right. Now, mom, the mother, the one that has that 500,000 that Susan has access to, is bedridden. Okay. And she's not doing well. So she's in a nursing home. Susan has the start of dementia. It's just the start, right? And it's right to that point where you could not have hit a better individual to try to scam. The timing was perfect, the dementia, but she was functional, really, really scary, okay? So, mother was bedridden, Susan had the start of dementia. All right. The doctor and Susan, both friends of ours, the doctor and Susan got divorced before Susan was diagnosed, okay? The doctor purchased a condo for Susan because he did wanna take care of her as a mother of their children, right? And their children are just amazing people, love them to death. So he purchased this condo for Susan. Both joined a over 50 dating site, very, very common. This is where a tremendous amount of scammers are on these, okay? Or the other thing, 60 Minutes, if you watch 60 Minutes, I try not to, but this one I did because, I did a lot of investigations, and early when I became an investigator, I did the cheating and, a lot of those things and cut my teeth on it 30 some odd years ago. So, they joined this dating website, and, this one was legit. The 60 Minutes, showed a website that looked legit, but it mainly was men looking for women, and the women were bots, AI bots, okay? So the guy would post something and get a return of what a woman may say, and he'd say, "Do you like, you know, certain type of sports?" And it was pre-programmed. I said, "Yes, I love sports. I love to run every day," making the individual think they're fit. Well, they're talking to an AI bot. They're not really talking to a human. So again, another type of scam. But this one was a legitimate site. Now, the doctor finds love. Very happy for him. Hard for us to accept, but we do accept it because we do love both of them. Susan finds a guy in Florida. Yes, it was actually in Florida, supposedly, just for a short time. And he works with Doctors Without Borders. Again, truthful in this situation, okay? He really is not a doctor, and he truly doesn't work with Doctors Without Borders. This is true information that was presented in part of his dating profile, right? She has this distant relationship with the guy for a couple of years. She still never met the guy because he literally works around the world, so he says. And the family found out how much money she was going through at the time, and they begged her, pleaded with her, "Please stop. This is not legit." So the guy would send jewelry to her. The settings were 14 karat gold, but they were cheap settings where the gold was maybe 100 $125 for the setting. We're talking about millions on her part. So they sent an actual 14 karat gold mount, but the diamonds were fake. And this is really before you started seeing a lot of the lab created diamonds. So they were not even real, right? They were knockoffs, fake diamond jewelry. She thought she was getting really good stuff. The kids took it and had it tested, or she didn't believe them because she wasn't there because, this guy was her dream. This was who she wanted to meet. All right, so the reality is I reached out to some contacts. FBI was called. When Susan was down to around half a million, okay? The tip-off was Susan mentioned to a family member that they were going to Best Buy, and Best Buy is a electronics retailer, to legitimately buy 3 high-dollar laptops forwarded to New York. There are people that will rent homes for 3 or 4 months, and they will forward, the freight from that address, right? Because they can set up a mailbox because now they get mail at that particular address. They turn on utilities, and they're not real information. People have stolen somebody else's identity and opened up utilities. Very detailed, right? So, her lover basically told her, "If you'll send these laptops to me, I'll have them forwarded to where I am," whatever, like Venezuela, I think it was, around this time. I think it was Venezuela, I'm not 100% sure. And he will pay her back. And she was like, "Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me back." But he always tried to string her along. All right. So the family decided enough. We're going to take her cell phone, right? Well, like I said, she is functional at that point. So she ended up getting another cell phone, and they would take the phone and she'd pick up another one, or she'd basically get two or three. Honestly, I don't know the exact specifics about that. But guys, she was truly in love with this doctor who was working in Venezuela, helping people that can't afford to, pay for healthcare. This really great guy. You ever hear the phrase "too good to be true"? Yeah. So she was absolutely in love, right? And that they are good. She kept trying to explain this to her family. The bottom line, as of today, right now, at the recording of this video on 7/11/2025, he's still in love with this guy. Scammed her out of $1.5 million, guys. 1.5 million. Now, this wasn't a housewife that just sat back and did nothing. She actually had a professional job where it was her job to interact with a lot of people. Can't tell you what it is 'cause you can use that information to find out more about the case. But she's very, very bright, right? And the doctor, they had this wonderful life, and they did very well financially. So she knew how to save a penny, literally how to save. All right. She still considers him as the one that got away, right? Sadly, the real doctor, remember, players are the father that is the doctor. I'm sorry, the doctor, Susan, husband and wife, the father and the grandmother, right? So the real doctor, her Susan's husband, pays for her hospital care, right? That's what that 1.5 million was gonna go to. It was gonna pay for the grandmother, but she has since died, and the rest of the money, the other 1.25 million, was supposed to go to Susan for her care for the rest of her life, and she should have had a very, very nice life, right? So, long story short, 1.5 million is scammed. What is she left with? $20,000. That's it. 1.5 million down to $20,000. Wow. I am pissed off. So, guys, I apologize. This is legitimate, right? All right. So, we doing on time. Okay. We're going to wind up pretty quickly here, guys. So, there's another one that I want to get to very, very quickly. Um, Payment when you're sending payments to these scammers. Scams used to be done within your city where you would drop it off at a business, uh, you would go to a bank and have it wired, or the big one was having Western Union transfer the money. That is what they did back in the day, right? Now, scammers are asking for gift cards, right? You can go to the grocery store and get a gift card for $100, $500, $1,000, $5,000, whatever. Load them up, and what the scammer will have you do is go get it, and then they'll contact you back, and you give them that number and the security code, and boom, they've got your money. Now, if it was cash, you can't get it back. If it was Western Union, you can't get it back, right? If it is a gift card, you've given them that number and they've taken it, you can't get it back. But here's the thing. Nowadays, they're asking for crypto, and this actually is a good thing. They don't realize that the FBI actually broke, a couple of scammers, and they were actually able to get the money refunded back to that individual. He or she got their Bitcoin back, right? All right. Got enough time? Should wind this up the next 5 minutes or so. So this one is interesting. Imagine grandma sitting at home, she's watching Jeopardy, right? And the telephone rings, and in the background, Unit 6, en route, code 3, and you're hearing basically a police scanner in the background. And grandma's sitting there and listening to Jeopardy, can't really hear, right? And this is a bully scam or phishing scam number 3. Now, this typically involves law enforcement. Scam starts with the call from someone claiming to be law enforcement. They claim that a individual is drunk and in their holding tank, and they don't have any identification whatsoever. And that individual will be sent to jail, right? But they want to try to help them out and let the family know. And how did they get a hold of grandma? Good question. So they ran the tag, and they're telling grandma this. They ran the tag of the vehicle because grandma's smart. She's watching Jeopardy, right? They ran the tag. The parents were also on that vehicle. And through a little searching, they were able to find that grandma was associated within that family. Okay. So the son is in jail, drunk and holding. The parents can't be reached, right? And grandma's sitting there, and now grandma's getting really upset because in the background, you can hear the police scanner, right? So, how did they get grandma? Well, we go back to Medicare or AARP or one of those, some agency that works with seniors, and they have sold their information, their contact information, their telephone number, their emails, all that information, right? Privacy is just absolutely gone. So, this is how the scammer got that information. And this is just a very high level of how this went that was documented. The police, and your grandma watching Jeopardy, right? Can barely hear. You got that image, right? Ma'am, can you give us the name of an individual, younger individual that is intoxicated? He didn't have any identification on him. And grandma's like, what? You know, she's very shocked. Well, I don't know this. Maybe it could be my grandson, Charles. No, okay, now you've just given him a name, but, Charles is in college. Well, of course he's in college, right? Ma'am, does Charles can you tell us what does he look like? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Sounds like that's the individual. Oh my. Oh, no. Gosh, I need to call my daughter, his mother, and I need to let her know. Ma'am, hang on. You know, you can do that, but we don't have time to mess with this. I'm giving you a call to see if there's anything you can do. If not, what we're going to do is go ahead and just send him over, and he'll go to county, right? So, grandma says, what do you expect me to do? They're in Washington, let's say. I'm in Chicago. Well, so, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you, but the only thing I am going to tell you is we are not going to hold you, right? If you can't pay, then we're just gonna go ahead and send them to county. The grandma is upset by this point, right? So, can I talk to him? "Nope, ma'am, I'm sorry. Look, I have to get back out on the street. I appreciate your time. Have a great day." And she is like, "Please wait." That is the hook right there, okay? It is that easy to get grandma or get somebody super confused. These guys are pros when it comes to this. All right, let's wind this down real quick. This is an interview with a India call center scammer. This is actual words from him. Money is the same if you earn it from hard work or if you scam it from somebody and you get the rest of the day off. Well, of course, he is thinking, I'm going to scam somebody. I don't have any scruples and I'm going to have the rest of the day off. So that is a real statement. All right, guys, let's wind this down. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in chat real quick. I will be here for maybe another 2 minutes, and I'll try to answer any questions that you have. Go ahead and put the little question mark at the start of your question. While you're doing that, if you would like to take a look at our site, you can go over here to our YouTube site. You can also go to our website, and our website is seniornetwork.info. Guys, I'm real excited about this, and I have got some really good information coming out to you real soon. Right? Let me switch and go back to full camera. Bear with me. a second. Right. First thing, are you ready for retirement? Really nice checklist. It is going to be free download. It's going to talk about long-term care. It's going to talk about your retirement age. Great information, free resource. It's going to be on our website, seniornetwork.info. New video that will be coming out is 7 retirement mistakes that I see every single day. And finally, we're going to put this out, and I'm going to kind of help you on this. We're going to get a group together, and this will be a 30-day challenge, right? So every day, we're going to have something for you to do, and this will hopefully get your finances organized, get your life reorganized, help you clean up the house a little bit, get rid of some things. Because remember, you still have Susan, you have your dresses that you wore when you were working or nicer clothes, and you really don't need those anymore, right? So you go ahead and donate them, get some money back on them, or do a thing for charity. And what we're trying to do is get rid of some of the old stuff that you have and get you to replace the old clothing, like the men, the suits that I mentioned, and replace them with things like a Hawaiian shirt, because now you have your finances in order and go to Hawaii. You can go anywhere you want. Hopefully, guys. Hopefully. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, my name is Mark, Senior Network, Retirement for Seniors and Crypto for Seniors. Guys, I appreciate you being here today. You can go ahead if you are watching this because it is recorded. And we are 1 hour now. You can go ahead and leave me a note in the chat. I'm sorry, down below under the description. Leave me a comment, and I will answer every question. If it requires more in depth, I'll give you my private email, and you can just send it directly to me, and I'd be happy to work with you. All right. Take care, guys. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.